This video is not clickbait. I did, in fact, hide a microphone on Splash Mountain at Walt Disney World before it closed. But before I get to that, I need to give a bit of background on what this whole thing is about. In December 2022, Disney announced that Splash Mountain at the Magic Kingdom would close on January 23rd, 2023, just about a month after they announced it. Immediately, me and a few friends got together and decided that we should try and plan a trip before it closed so that we could do some final documentation. The trip was set for January 8th, just me and 3 other friends for 2.5 days. As a Disney audio enthusiast, something I had always been interested in trying to pull off was leaving a microphone behind on an attraction in order to record audio. Now, it goes without saying that this is not something that I can recommend anyone try. It's certainly against park rules and often a dangerous or unsafe thing to do. That being said, a few weeks before we left, I started planning how I might pull this off for Splash Mountain just weeks before the ride closed. There were so many factors to consider. I had to look at what kind of microphone I would use, which way the speakers on the ride were facing, which speakers sounded the clearest or had the correct side of the stereo track, where are the security cameras, how does the water splash into the banks, where are the guests' eyes directed, what time are the fireworks. Everything had to be planned perfectly. Some of you may be wondering why this is so important, so I have to explain why. There's a specific track that plays in Splash Mountain that fans have been trying to find for years. It's known as the How Do You Do Exterior Instrumental. It's a track that plays towards the beginning of the ride, and it's something I'm sort of known for on my channel. It's one of the videos that got my channel going. I made an edit of it. It didn't sound very good, but it took off a little bit. Though I'm not as obsessed with it as I once was, it is still a meaningful track. It's very nostalgic, and so I wanted to see if I could drop the microphone on the portion of the ride that plays this track and get a half-decent recording of it before it's gone forever. Now, before we go any further, I must confess, this plan to record this track did not come to fruition. However, I did still leave a microphone on Splash Mountain, just in a different section of the ride. We're getting there. I also purchased a second microphone, a Zoom H1N, which is $120, just in case the first one fell in or went missing, so that wouldn't be the end to my plan. Also, I folded and hardened this napkin to fit over the mic to make it look like a piece of trash and not a bomb. It was at this exact moment that I realized it wouldn't be possible. It was too far away, there were too many variables at play. Sometimes the log would drift to one side and back, and I couldn't reliably put it down and pick it up. I might have been able to throw it, but even then it was a really wet and sloped surface, and I just wasn't feeling confident about it. And yet, I did not want to give up. I bought a second microphone. I had done hours and hours of planning. I'd come this far, I was ready to do it, I was in the mindset. And so throughout the ride, I looked for other places where I could possibly put it. And then it hit me, Brer Frog Laughing Place. Not nearly as sought after, but still an elusive track that only parts of had been leaked in Tokyo Disneyland's Splash Mountain CD soundtrack. Completely on impulse, the log floated by, I reached out of the log and I put it down. There was nothing I could do at this point except wait, and it was nerve-wracking. There was a show going on, so the lines were short. Me and my friend immediately rushed back into line, got back on a log about 10 minutes after getting off. My heart was absolutely pounding, the adrenaline was insane as I waited for the log to get up to the spot where I'd left it, and when I got there, it was still there, but it had moved. I didn't know if it had slipped or if someone had tried to pick it up or what, but it was not where I'd left it. In fact, it was a lot closer to the bank where it could have slipped in and gotten crushed by a boat. As it turns out, someone had in fact tried to pick it up. As I'm about to play, you can hear what sounds like a kid spot it, pick it up, freak out, and throw it back down. Except he didn't do a very good job throwing it. So, final thoughts. Was it worth it? Absolutely, but not for the audio. I, of course, will share the file. I'll link to the full recording. But the audio is not why it was worth it. It's not about the audio. And that is what I want the message to be for this video. It's not about the ride. It's not about the music. It was about doing something fun with my friends. And I mean that. I will miss Splash Mountain. A lot of people will. But it's just a Disney attraction. I have really good memories of the ride. I know a lot of people have really good memories, and it is heartbreaking that it's going away, but it's just a Disney attraction. The reason I'm saying this is I know that there's a lot of people who have taken this as just a really devastating moment in history and devastating in their lives, and I just really want to stress to just step back and think about how unimportant this is in the grand scheme of things. The point of a Disney ride is not the ride, it's not the animatronics, it's not the story. It's about having a good time with yourself or with friends or with family. And if you are focusing on the individuality of the ride, the animatronics, the paint, the music, you're completely missing the point. There's nothing wrong with enjoying those things. Obviously, I run a whole channel dedicated to that. But you shouldn't cherish that. You should cherish the memories. As corny as that sounds, it's true. And I'm not talking about anyone in particular. If anything, I'm talking about myself, because this is something that I also had to deal with when they announced the closure. It made me very, very sad, and I was a huge fan of the attraction already. But you have to just take a step back and look at the fact that this is just a Disney attraction. That being said, I hope this audio makes some people happy. Please enjoy it. Thank you.